Well, hello there. You are listening to Nellyville, the podcast. And I'm Black. Hello, Shalom. Welcome back to another fabulous episode of Nellyville, the podcast, the place to be. I'm your host, Chanel number 5, aka Nellyville. And once again, I am so happy to be here with you guys. If you have not been following along with my review of Drag Race Season 18, you can catch the audio only episodes here, right here, wherever you're getting your podcast, wherever you're listening to this. You can listen to that. Or if you want the video form, that is also available on YouTube. Also, it is available in audio form on YouTube. So, take your pick of the draw. Just want to let y'all know it's getting real juicy out here. People are fainting. People are throwing shade. The girls are arguing online. You're going to want to keep up with all of that great tea. But right here, this is not Drag Race Review. This is a regular schmegular episode. This is where we talk about pop culture. We talking about the current events, just kind of a little 1-2 kiki with the girls, 2 episodes this season. Oh, it's a lot. Now, before we get into it, I just want to say, have you ever made the mistake of, because it's cold out here. I'm sure probably a lot of places where you all are, it's cold. Is it as cold here as it is some other places? Probably not. But we are not used to really any type of cold down here. It don't take much. All that to say, have you ever made the mistake of closing a door to one of your rooms and then it not heating up properly? Because that's the situation that's happening here. I made the mistake of having my office slash glam YouTube, whatever you want to call this little room over here. I made the mistake of having that door closed. And what happened was there was no heat circulating. And I really didn't have the heat up high. And I just want you to know that I chose to be cold to give you guys the entertainment because that is the type of person that I am. Now, I'm sure you say, Chanel, why'd you heat up the room before you're gonna, I was in the mood to record. I want to get it done. I was ready to kiki with the dolls. I'm ready. I was ready to kiki with the gentle limbs and the lady girls and the things and all of that. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna tough it out. And some of you are like, well, Chanel, why couldn't you just set up your podcast situation in a warmer room? I do not like being cold. I also do not like having to take down my audio equipment and reset it up. I'd rather, if you know me, I can't be cold. My brain does not work. It's starting to warm up in here. I kicked it up a little high, But I'd rather sit here and wait for it to get warm than to take all this stuff down and move it somewhere and then have to tear it all down and bring it back. Oh, you baby, it never gave that deep. Anyways, you want to know, so let's get right into the tea. Y'all want to hear something that really was not that deep? So have y'all heard about the Glambot guy? Okay, so the Glambot is, those kind of cinematic photo little video things that the people are doing at the red carpets. So it's like a little picture. It's like a little motion picture. It's like slow-mo. Y'all have seen it. Look it up. So this guy, he's known for doing these glam bots. He does it at these red carpets. He hosts it. They are very, very popular. So much so that people have figured out ways to, mimic these glam bots at your events, at birthday parties, at weddings, at all of the things. Like it's a very big, little trend right now over the last few years. So here we go. J-Lo is doing one of the glam bots, and she kind of turns to the head guy. I think the guy's name is Cole or something rather. So she turns to the guy. She just does a little 1-2, like, "Hi, how are you?" You know, blah blah blah. She does her little glam bot. She goes on down the red carpet, whatever event it was. And so somebody called J Lo out, made a video or something. Some person was like, "J Lo, she is so rude. She didn't even tell that man thank you. She was rude to him." I guess they felt like she should have been more. I don't know. It wasn't that, but you know, the people like to pile on to J Lo. But it was just very, "Hi, how are you? Thank you, goodbye." I don't know really what they expected J Lo to do. It's a red carpet, you know, stuff is moving fast. You trying to sit down, your feet's hurting. I don't know. But y'all know, like I said, the people love to pile on J Lo. Anyway, so cut two. Somebody was like, "No, no, no. J Lo is not the rude one. That man is rude." And baby, they had the receipts to back it up. And once one person came with receipts about how rude this man was, all of a sudden, all these people started coming out about how rude this man is. And now I fear little Mr. Cole, little Mr. Glambot, baby, your time might be up. So cut to, this lady came with receipts and was like, "No, J-Lo ain't rude. This man is rude. Let me tell you how this conversation went down." So back in 2019, this woman sent an email out to Mr. Cole trying to seek the service of the glam bot. She wanted it for her wedding. And in this email exchange, this man is being so dismissive. He's being very rude, basically saying, "Baby, you can't afford me. Why are you even asking me? You're bothering me. You can't afford this." And in this email exchange, you know, she's trying to say, "No, yeah, I'm interested. You know, name the price. I've seen you're at the Oscars. I assume this is going to be top dollar, but hey, point me in the right direction. Do I book through you? Do I need to call the TV station? What do I need to do? My checkbook is ready." They do a little back and forth. It takes him forever to even give her a price. He's just being very dismissive, very rude, very nasty, very presumptuous that this woman does not have the funds to pay for this. For what reason. We use your imagination. So finally he says, "Well, it could be anywhere between 10,000 and $1 million." Okay. That's a big ass range. Anywhere from 10,000 to $1 million. That's like saying, "Okay, are you making a TV show for Zeus Network, or are you making a Marvel film?" What, like, y'all gotta start somewhere like, you could just tell that he was trying to be rude and nasty. And even after that, the woman was like, "Okay, that's fine. Look, how much you?" So then finally, he was like, "It's gonna be $300,000, and I need 10% for the deposit, and then I'll send you the contract." She was like, "Okay, cool. I'll be in touch by Monday." And he was like, "Well, if you just wanted to know how much it was, you didn't have to pretend like you were gonna book it." And she was like, "Baby, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but I got it like that. What you mean?" So, if you're thinking, "Damn, $300,000, look, now this is somebody who does do red carpet events, he does the celebrities, it's gonna be top dollar." But before I continue on with the rest of the people that have come out and stuff, Nigel Barker. Y'all remember Nigel Barker? Y'all probably remember him from America's Next Top Model. He was like one of the main photographers from Top Model for most of the seasons. Very, very famous fashion photographer. He came out and said, "I don't know what this man is talking about, but my team in my studio and with other people or whatever he's worked with," he was like, Nigel was like, "I've used glam bots before. And it's never been more than," I think he said, $25,000. And that's on the high end. Baby. He was like, "So I don't know where this man is getting 300,000, where that number came from." And this was 5 years ago. I didn't even realize it's been that long since this man's been doing it. I mean, I guess it's been a while, but that had to be when it first kind of started. So you was really out here anyways. Then here come the drag queens, Corey King and I think it was Hormona Lisa. They were like, yeah, that man is rude. He didn't even want to do the glam bots with the drag queens. He was acting like we weren't famous enough. And for those of us who really still wanted to do it, he wouldn't let us do it one at a time. The most of the time these glam bots is done with just one person. It's usually just a solo person. Every now and then you'll get two people in there or something, but usually it's supposed to be a solo slow motion action shot. And Corey, Harmona, and then a bunch of other queens was like, yeah, he was trying to get us to do it 16, 15, 10 at a time. Like, hurry down. So now all these people are coming out saying, and Corey was like, yeah, I had to cuss that man out. He was so rude. And then somebody so happened to have a video of Corey yelling at that man, talking about, man, fuck you. But anyways, look, I know people, they get a little big for their britches. You want to feel like you're exclusive, you want to charge people your worth and all this other kind of stuff. But do not think that you are irreplaceable. Do not allow your head to get so big. Because see now it's giving racist, and he's a half Asian man. And of course, he tried to come out with an apology video talking about, oh, I'm sorry for being dismissive, and I know how it feels to struggle with. Boy, please. Please, miss me out with all that. Little did he know the woman that he was getting all jazzy with, oh, she had money. Oh, she had money. I think this lady had about 2, 3 weddings. She was like, I don't know who she is or what she does or what her status, but that lady, she didn't reach out to him for no reason. And she really could have put you on the map, my guy. So now, will we continue to see the same little glam bot guy? Are they gonna have glam bots at all at these red carpets and stuff? Is he gonna be banished? All because you want to sit up here and be rude to somebody. Paper trails follow you, man. And it does not pay to be rude and nasty to someone. And it was already bad enough that woman came out with the emails and had those receipts, and you could have maybe apologized your way out of that and said that this was a new business venture for me. Because he did mention that in 2019 he was just kind of more or less a one-man team, or just was working with a couple people. And he probably was getting hit up all the time, especially when it started to take off. And sometimes you do get people who inquire about stuff and they're not serious. And you get frustrated. You don't want to waste your time. And everyone can have a bad day. But then when you started to have all of these other people come out and say, yeah, he didn't think I was famous enough, or I was waiting in line, but they kept putting all these other celebrities in front of me. Now it's too many people piling on and saying, no, that man, he's rude, he's nasty. So I know I saw a glam bot a few weeks ago with Bretman Rock, and Bretman, y'all know Bretman, the influencer, former YouTube. I think he kind of still does YouTube, beauty influencer, great guy. But anyways, I saw him do a glam bot recently, and he looked kind of like uncomfortable. He looked kind of nervous. Bretman's been in the game for a while. I mean, you can have a look before you take a picture, especially a glam bot, because you got to really think about your pose, because it's not just a snapshot. It's moving. So you got to think about, okay, what am I doing? What are my actions? And you can kind of hear someone saying some stuff in the background. And when I saw it, I was thinking like, does Bretman not want to? Is somebody making him do this or something? But now that I think about it and kind of think about what I was hearing in the background and that, I think he was probably uncomfortable because that man was probably being rude to him too. Because Bretman, people know who he is. He's not necessarily a household name, but he's got a little bit of fame. And if this man is like how everybody's saying he is, he probably really didn't want to be bothered with Bratman. He was probably like, man, hurry up here, take this damn picture. And Bratman was probably like, damn, like, you know what I mean? Because he just didn't seem like himself. So I don't know. Look, baby, it don't pay to be rude. Now, hopefully this little man learned his lesson, but I wouldn't be mad if we just didn't see the little glam bots anymore, or if we got somebody else. Let Nigel Barker do it. Give the gig to somebody else. Cause baby, you ain't the only one that can create these glam bots. And these shows and these red carpets and stuff, they do not want no kind of controversy right now. And you sitting there talking about, I know what it's like to be, discriminated against. I'm a minority myself. Well, then you should know that it does not take much for you to be let go and blacklisted. And that little apology you posted, baby, ain't nobody buying that. Not on this day, Mary. $10,000 to $1 million. Okay, anyways. And then you want to be on dismissal to the LGBT? Child, good luck. I mean, people have overcome bigger, so we wish you well, little glam by guy. But that's what you get for coming for J-Lo. Anyway, speaking of people who do actually support the LGBT, can we just pause for a second and talk about Marlon Wayans and his support for his trans son? Now, Marlon has been very supportive of his trans son for years now, and of course has gotten a lot of backlash and everything. But I really love to see. I'm a huge Wayans fan. I grew up on Wayans. I love their work. Great movies, great TV show. I still watch My Wife and Kids. I still watch the Wayans brothers. Just wonderful, great, very talented family. And I've always liked Marlon, and to see this celebrity, but really even more importantly, this black man, this black father, really stand 10 toes down and double down on the support of his child, and really be an advocate, and really be out here in these interview streets, and not just supporting, but being really proud and really just spreading the message, and not, just, it's one thing to kind of support, but then, you really won't talk about it, or, but he's really out here like, I'm proud of my child, and we got to do better as a black community. Because, let's be honest, the black community still really ain't on board. They're a little bit more on board with being gay or lesbian or whatever, but even that is a stretch. And then you talk about being trans. I don't know. So it is just very refreshing to see this black man just being such a loving and supportive father. It's really refreshing. I'm like, damn, I love that family. It's just so beautiful. But I had to take a moment for that. But if you haven't seen Marlon out here in these interview streets, look it up. It's very touching. It's good because you just don't see it. And I hope that people like Marlon Wayans and what's that other comedian lady? Miss Pat. Miss Pat talks about her daughter who came out to her as gay when her daughter was in college. And Miss Pat talks about how her daughter coming out was the thing that made her say, wow, I'm really kind of homophobic. In the black community, it's very normal for people to just kind of have this normalized homophobia. And when her daughter came out, she just was like, I love my child. And why do I say these things about this community? Because she was like, I didn't, and I will let look her up. it wasn't that she was just outwardly just like really mean, really had an issue, but just how it is in the black community. That's just what it is. It's what it was, it's what it is. And she realized it's really none of my business. These people ain't trying to hurt nobody. This is learned behavior. And it just really, I like how Miss Pat is so open and honest about, yeah, I had to do some soul searching. I had to, but at the end of the day, I love my child, so I'm gonna do what I gotta do to understand and figure it out. And what I realize is I don't that doesn't take away the type of person that my daughter is, and it's not worth me losing my child. Like, be mad at my child and lose it for and what? And Miss Pat talks about how she ended up kind of being a safe space for not only her daughter, but for her daughter's friends. Like we said, a lot of people, not just black community, but it's just really big in black and brown communities, that they disown their kids. And Miss Pat kind of, said, I took in some of her friends, and it's just really sad to see. And then the parents just cut the kids off, and she was like, it's not gonna be my daughter. And Miss Pat, she real out here big and popping right now. So to have somebody like that speaking on it, I think and I hope that it will try to kind of shift and change some minds, and break that those negative connotations, and that negative mindset towards that community. Then you have people like Monique, who for years, who has been an advocate, and saying the things and standing up for the community. So, I hope people, I just want my people to be free. I want my people to be free. Black people, damn, come on, break the shackles. Love the rainbow community. You know what I'm saying? Now, speaking of rainbow community, and to kind of switch it up to kind of a lighter topic, I need to talk about. I saw something so funny on a video, and how I'm gonna describe it, it's not gonna do it justice. But if you have time, you gotta go watch this clip. So I was watching Mistress Mondays, and Mistress Isabel Brooks, drag queen, RuPaul's Drag Race from season what, like 15 or something, and All Stars 10. Mistress was doing a video with Luscious Massacre, and they were out actually down, Mistress from Houston. They was out here down Montrose on the street, but man, something happened in the background of the video, and I was crying laughing. I had to keep watching it. And so they're standing on the street, and they're interviewing people as they're coming. Montrose is the one of the biggest queer communities in Houston. And so they're standing outside interviewing people and whatnot. And the way Mistress, okay, so this guy comes up, it's the sound effects that they added in with someone. So this guy is on this, like, it's like some kind of bicycle. And then you hear this little bell off to the side, and this man, it was kind of like this man was older. This man probably being like his late 50s, 60s on this bike. And then so they stand there interviewing, then you know how you see something, but you trying like to not pay attention to it. So Mistress kind of turned and looked like, damn, what's this man doing? So this man came up. Mistress going, so, oh, hey, how you doing, baby? So the man was trying to get past. Now, why the man was trying to squeeze behind Mistress, Lustrous, and this couple that they're interviewing, I don't know. I was like, it had to be another way. This man gonna try to squeeze, but then all of a sudden, you didn't see the man, the boy. You had heard like a little crash, and, and Mistress looked like, oh damn. But then Mistress added a sound effect when, like, I don't know if the man ran into something. I don't know if he fell. I don't know what happened. You could kind of see it was like he ran into something. But the four of them standing there, he like kind of like fell, ran into something behind him. So you just hear like this exaggerated crash. explosion thing, man, it made it so funny. But what was so funny is that Mistress was like trying to be engaged with the interview. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. But she's looking like, damn, what's this man doing? And then Luscious is like just completely oblivious. And then the couple's looking like kind of like know that something's going on behind them, but they're trying to just keep talking. Man, it was just so much going on in that little clip. Please, if you have time, I had the timestamp. It happens in like 13, it's like around 13 minutes and 27 seconds. I know the timestamp. That's how many times. I think that's what it was. Gosh, it was so funny because I was like, "What is this man doing? All this they're outside. It wasn't like they were inside somewhere." I was like, "Man, why are you trying to squeeze behind him anyway?" That man fell with that bike. Luscious still talking like it's not happening. The couple's looking like, "Man, what's going on behind us?" The way Mistress looking at man up and down, ain't nobody helping the man. Man, that was funny. Anyways, I guess it wasn't that bad because nobody stopped recording. But damn. Oh, that was funny. Don't ever fall in front of me. That's the worst thing you can do. Don't ever fall in front of me. I'm gonna make sure you alright, but damn. Damn, that was funny. I love a chaotic scene. Now, speaking of things that happen in the background, we're gonna talk about this. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let y'all go. So yesterday, I'm watching Dean Withers. Y'all know Dean Withers, the political debate guy, on TikTok, YouTube, or whatever. So he's alive, and everything's normal. He's doing his little debates. He's bringing people in. Now I know, he kind of looked like he had a lot going on. He looked like he was tired. It looked like little boy looked like he had a lot on his mind. And so I'm listening to him, and I could kind of hear some stuff going on in the background, but I couldn't tell if it was coming from him or from the caller. So I was like, dang, somebody's got like some commotion going on in their background. So that caller hung up, and then the next person got on, and I could still every now and then hear somebody being really loud in the background. I was like, oh no, it's somebody at his house being loud. So his face, like I couldn't tell. I'm like, can he not hear? Because he has his headphones on. But I'm like, if we can hear it, he's got to hear. So I don't know. But then again, maybe he couldn't, because maybe he didn't have it where he can hear himself back in his headphones. He might have just had it set up where he can just hear the caller. Because it went on for at least 30, 40 minutes. Every now and then you would hear somebody really, really loud in the background. But I'm thinking, even if he can't hear, I couldn't see the comments at the time. But I was like, I was like, if we can hear, I'm pretty sure people in the comments saying, "Hey man, what you got going on? Or what's that in the background?" Maybe he wasn't reading the comments. I don't know. But then all of a sudden, the person's getting louder. You could tell somebody's hollering, screaming, somebody's crying, somebody's in distress. So then all of a sudden, he was like, "Hold on, y'all. I gotta get off the street." He took he now normally he has his little, you call it anxiety pen with his little vape or whatever. And normally he's pretty good about concealing it because you can't have that like online and stuff or whatever. But before the camera cut off, you see him take a really big hit off of that vape pen. Like, damn, my nerves is bad. And then the video cut off, which he said he was leaving, but I guess he didn't realize it was like a 2-3 second delay before the video actually ended. So we saw him take a huge hit of that vape like that. And then it just live and just cut off. And then nothing. People didn't hear nothing for hours. And I was thinking, damn, I hope everything's okay. What's going on? Now, I know he said that his family dog, they had to put the dog down. I remember a few days prior, his dad was really upset. Family, the dog is like your family. So I knew that was kind of going on. I was like, I don't know if I have anything to do with it, but it sounds like you got a lot going on, man. Come to find out, he finally came back a few hours later and he was like, man, sorry, y'all. He was like, I did go ahead and private that video. So let's recap the current events from yesterday. What happened was, now this is what he said. He said that his girlfriend was on the phone with her sister and they were arguing. And I'm thinking, well, damn, what the heck was they arguing about? Because I mean, she was like, she was really loud. She was getting loud, and then right before he was like, "Okay, I gotta go, y'all." You could hear her like just bawling in the background, like she was like it was really like, God damn, what the hell's going on? And then he said somebody called the police. I guess somebody who was watching on the stream called the police department and was like, "Yeah, somebody's screaming, crying in the background." So he's already on first name basis with like a couple of the officers in the area. So the officer called and was like, "Yeah, man, we got a distress call. Is everything okay?" So the officer talked to him and her. They was like, "Yeah, everything's okay." But that's another story. He's on first name basis with the officers, and because a couple weeks ago the FBI had to come to his house because there was a death threat that they found, and it was serious enough that they just went to his door and was like, "Hey man, somebody reported that there was a death threat." So yeah. So anyways, he had all that going on. But anyways, he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I told my girlfriend and she's okay now." She said he said that I'm okay. Oh God. She said I'm okay to tell you guys this. But they were arguing. She was on the phone with her sister and blah blah blah. He said, "Man, it's just been a long couple days. We had to put the dog down. My house flooded. Family." I mean, he was just, I was like, "Dang, this poor little boy." I'm thinking, sweetie, you ain't gotta be alive right now to do the debates. I know it's how you make your coin and stuff, but I guess, sometimes you just gotta do stuff to take your mind off. But some people, need to be busy and stuff. And he wasn't on there the day before. And when he wasn't on there the day before, I was like, must the dog probably took a turn for the worse. He was like, "Yeah, I got to a point where at least I'm not crying just at the thought of the dog." But I was like, "Oh Lord." But I was trying to figure out, did the sister, or not the sister, did the girlfriend not know that he was on live? Or, I'm just trying to figure out, was it a phone, did the sister call and she just thought it was going to be a regular call and it turned into an argument? Was they already on there arguing and maybe he should have waited to go live? I just, I'm glad everything's okay. And I know he was concerned and stuff, but he was probably, I'm also thinking he maybe heard her before he got off, but maybe was thinking maybe she'll stop. Maybe it'll calm down because he was probably thinking maybe I can just move past. I'm gonna do the live, and then see. Then after the live, I'll see what's going on with her. Because when you stop the live abruptly like that, especially when normally you get on, you normally on for like anywhere from like 3 to 5 hours at a time. And when he cut it off, it was only like 40 minutes in. Yeah, like 45 minutes in. So you don't want to draw more attention to whatever is going. But I think it just got to a point where he was like, I can't even pretend like his girl and howling in the background. So I'm just like, girl, I don't know. Look, when drama strike, drama strike. But I know he probably had to be mad, like, damn, shut up. I don't know what you're doing down here, but not like in a mean way. But it's just like, how you want an important phone call or a Zoom meeting, or you trying to conduct business and your child or somebody's in the background just doing the most and you trying to do something professional, and somebody's just doing a lot. I can understand the frustration. So, anyways, I'm glad little boy came back and everything's okay. Hope we can get his little house fixed and all of that kind of stuff. I was like, damn. Poor little boy. I'm thinking, oh Lord, the scandal of it all. Anyways, I had to share that with y'all, but it's always very exciting when something happens out of the ordinary on the live. You be like, and the people out in the comments, man, y'all know what happened. You know, people just so damn nosy. Include me. I'm reading through comments. I'm thinking, well, damn, what happened? Because he ain't never just. Anyways, I thought that was. Oh, and this last little bit. So y'all saw Maga Minaj, right? Just as we suspect. Somebody said this. Somebody said she's doing all this so because she's came here as an immigrant when she was 5. She's not a. I don't think she's a citizen of the U.S. And somebody said she's doing all this to try to get her paperwork. She trying to make sure she's not getting deported and showing up. What was it yesterday, the other day? She sent up here holding hands with Donald Trump, posting pictures of that little whack little gold card. Girl. And then somebody said, well, we better keep an eye on that offender list. Make sure her husband stay on there. Cause he miraculously just suddenly disappeared. We know it was part of that too. And somebody said a gold card, but still not a citizen, just for it to be revoked after this administration leave. I'm like, it's got to be more to it than that, because it's got to be more. I don't know if somebody has something on her. Like, yeah, that's a reason, but I don't know. I don't know how much money she has. I don't know what her finances are like. I don't know what her little husband's over there doing. I know Cardi B made allegations that her husband keeps her so doped up and drugged up that he be spending all her money. I don't know. I don't know what's true, but I don't think somebody would throw away their whole legacy off of just trying to get some papers. That I feel like she should have enough money to be able to get, some kind of a legal team together to be able to get her permanent residency or citizenship. To not have to go through this extreme of what she's been doing. It's very sad, but well, I've been, like I said, I've been trying to tell y'all about the girl, but I think it's definitely something more to it. It's very sad to watch. Mm, but you can't look away. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, more on that. So she got her little right, girl. I ain't got time for it. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for hanging out with me, having a little kiki. Y'all go out there, bundle up, stay warm, or if you're in a little tropical climate, hey, go bask in the sun for me, honey. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, love you so much. Okay, bye.